And from the other side, with our suppliers, trying to do wine dinners and events in the wine shops to introduce our portfolio of wines and to explain our realities at our wineries. So this is what we do. We work in different parts of the world. Agreement Italia started around more than 10 years ago, around 15 years ago. Nicole joined us 3 years ago now. So it's 3 years that we work together. And it's really important also for us to have somebody which is really relevant for us in our staff in each of the main markets. So Nicole, of course, she's following for us on the West Coast in US. We also have a partner in Korea, a partner in China, a partner in Russia, one in Mexico. So it's really useful for us, but also necessary to understand the markets and to have somebody that can help us directly from the market. And I think that Nicole in that really did a great job, and she's really, really helpful for us. So this is just more or less what we do. It's not an easy job because we work with different wineries, and every winery really has its own approach, its own reality. But I always say, before talking about the wines, I always like to talk about the people which are behind every bottle. So I'm happy that Nicola is here with us today because, I really think that what we need to do is try to talk about the philosophy and the style of each winery. That really make the difference. There are a lot of good wines, of course, in Italy, but the relationship and the approach and the style of each winery, I think, is the most important thing to understand about each of them.
Yeah, and then,
we agree.
Yeah,
it would be great if
Nicola, if you want to jump in for. We shared the presentation together. I think the way it goes, it's kind of like explaining a bit more about your family, the winery,
Yes.
your philosophy behind, and then we speak a little bit more in detail about maybe the Vernaccia, because I think it's a white wine that is maybe not yet so known here in the US, and a bit more about the Chianti Classico. I think that would be great to do that.
Great. Hi to everybody. Some face is known for me, other is new. I'm Nicola Guidi. I'm part of the family that we are talking today. My family work in the wine business since 1929. Today, me and my brother, we run the business. Giacomo, he takes care more about the production. In fact, today we are bottling. Now we finish because it's late in Italy. But and I'm here in the States and with Nicole Copafina and all the group to promote the wine. My family has a different area of production in Tuscany, where we take care about our vines. Thanks. So we have basically 3 area of production. That area is San Gimignano, the Chianti Classico, and Montalcino with the Brunello. So we take care of about 3 different areas. That was a dream that my grandfather had, and my father too, to have many wineries, many area of production. So don't concentrate only on one. And what I'm doing today is run this to the future. Giacomo, my brother, is our winemaker. I will always. For me, it's nice to talk about my family because I don't want to be the only person in charge. So we are a family that we can take care about everything by ourselves. Our size is not little, but we are not a huge company. So it's still something where we can control and check everything. But for sure, we need a good partner because otherwise we don't do anything by ourselves. So in front of us, we have the Tuscan.
Nicola, is it just my computer or does everyone else's sound fuzzy?
Yeah, there's like a clipping.
Yeah, the sound is kind of...
The sound is off. Maybe it's your headphones, Nicola?
Yeah, I try to do without.
Okay.
Just a moment.
Thank you.
You hear me? No.
Yeah.
Yes?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
I can hear
Yeah,
you.
we hear you.
Yes.
It's better or no?
No.
No. You hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Better?
Yes.
Maybe? Yes. Okay, meno male. Good. Sorry.
Okay.
It's maybe it's the internet of my hotel. I don't know. I'm sorry. So where we are? Okay. We're talking about the Chianti Tuscan. So we are located in Tuscany, of course, in the center Tuscany, in the historical Tuscany. So it's where we produce wine today. What we have now on the screen is our vineyards of Chianti Classico, of Sangiovese. I used to say that Sangiovese in our blood because everything is made by Sangiovese mostly for us, except one wine that we present later, the white wine. But yeah, so this is a little bit where we are. San Gimignano in the yellow spot. San Donato, that is the name of the town where we are in the Chianti Classico, that is the brown area. And in south, where is Montalcino with the Brunello. So the main area of production is the Chianti Classico for us, is where all our more effort is concentrated right now. Is this historical area of Chianti is the original Chianti area. We are in the west side, so we are able to produce wine very smooth, elegant, and soft. So we are only 250 meters on the sea level, so that helps for looking this style of wine. We produce our Chianti Classico with a little bit of Merlot inside the Malvasia with the Sangiovese. That for us is it's what we like and what we think that make this wine traditional, but at the same time very, very international. A wine that is very good for this market, especially, and we maintain the tradition of the Chianti Classico, aging the wine mostly in big oak barrel of 3,000 and 4,000 liters. So they are very huge. It's the traditional way to age it in the Chianti Classico. Nicole, Lauren, if you have something to tell, if you want to interrupt me, be free.
Yeah. I think
Maybe just.
Go ahead.
Go, Lauren, go.
Something that I found really interesting was I was there was the Leonardo da Vinci kind of I don't know glass things that you used. Maybe you can talk about that a little.
I'm sorry we don't have a picture, but it's nice to talk about Tuscany. Sometimes today wine is producing every part of the world, but Tuscany is one of the historical region for Italy. And we still use this big oak barrel, very huge. In the top of the barrel, there is a little item made by glass that where we can see the level of the wine, but also it's like a hat, so the air from outside doesn't enter. And this little item was designed by Leonardo da Vinci in the 15th century, and we still use. So that makes something very special to me and to Lauren, apparently, because it's like the tradition of the things never change in our region and make the wine so special. Another important fact to me that Tuscany, to produce the Chianti Classico and the other DOCG, we cannot irrigate the vines, so we don't give water to the plants. In fact, I used to say we pray a lot for that reason, because we need water, but sometimes it works, sometimes not. So we really depends by the vintage. The vintage to me in Italy is very important because many regions are not allowed to irrigate the vines. So with the no irrigation, we depends 100% by the season, by the weather.
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to talk about the area and the tradition of the area. So, Nicola, you really anticipated what I was trying to tell. So, about the fact that Tuscany is for sure one of the more traditional areas. I don't know if all of you have been in Tuscany. It's of course one of the trips that I really suggest to do if you want to know more about the wine area. Just to give an overall idea about Italy, the most important region for the wine production are Piedmont, Tuscany, Veneto, and Puglia in the south. These are the more, let me say, historical that are covering the biggest part of the DOCG and the DOC in Italy. So also the kind of, I'm sure that you know every appellation in Italy, going from the table one up to the DOCG, but the highest number of DOCG is really between Piedmont and Tuscany. So it's absolutely a very traditional area. And we are inside one of the more traditional and historical area in Tuscany. Chianti Classico is one of the area of Chianti, generally speaking. So when we talk about Chianti, of course, we think immediately to the Sangiovese. There are 7 different areas where we can produce Chianti with different appellation, and Chianti Classico is the most important. I was just really thinking to the harvest this year. So just also to give you an idea on how the last 10 years have been so different the one for the other. So in many of the regions in Italy, we cannot do by law or by choice irrigation of the vineyards. That means that we really need to adopt a different kind of measure, different kind of training and management of the vineyards, just trying to face the changes that we have, running in the last 10 years. If we go from 2014 until now, we really saw so many different kind of, challenges time for the producers. And so they're really becoming a kind of, I don't know how to say, but they're really resilient. This is something that happens since ever. So of course now, the hot weather is it's one of the key, but it's not something new. This is really something that happened forever. The vines is a very resilient grape, and especially in Tuscany, thanks to the kind of soil. So we are really talking about a very ancient soil in Tuscany, in this area that was covered also by the ocean millions of years ago, and where you can really, develop these clays, lime, but also skeleton soil with a lot of small stones, which are really helpful in draining the water and in facing very hard time like this 3 last year. So Nicola really anticipated what I wanted to tell about the history from the other side, but also to the modern or less activities that they are doing to train and to face the last changes in the climate.
Yeah, it's if I can say something more, that it's very important when also people ask us how is the climate change, because we basically depends by the weather, not by the areas. So it's very a big impact because we cannot choose to do something to limit the hot summer or other things, because the idea of making wine for us, for historical region, is produce wine like our ancestors. So to have wine that century by century, year by year, are mostly the same. So for sure with new technique, but with the same idea of wine. So that it's something that for we Italian, it's very important also to communicate. Well, talking about areas, I don't know if someone been in Tuscany, many been in San Gimignano to see this very special town with these towers. This town it's famous for sure for the towers. Americans used to call the Manhattan of medieval time, but and I really suggest you to visit because it's very impressive to see. but this area is famous also for a white wine. So Tuscany is basically known all over the world for the Sangiovese, but there is a little area that is this town where it's producing of white wine is more important than red wines. In San Gimignano, since the 13th century, there is a production of a wine called Vernaccia di San Gimignano. That is a white wine, white grapes. So in this case, the name of the wine and the name of the grapes is the same. Vernaccia San Gimignano, it's very historical because it was the first DOC of Italy in 1966. So to obtain the government approved for the DOC. And also, it's very protected. But already in the 13th century, the San Gimignano town made the rules that nobody are allowed to bring outside of San Gimignano the vines. So they protect the production since the 13th century. That has made the wine very rare and unique. For sure, is no wine very well known because the production is very limited. So it's hard for the export to have a massive production. But that it's his unique, I think, unique sell point. Something very unique that nobody or no anyone can have on their wine list or on the wine shop And the wine, I used to say, is the white wine perfect for who doesn't like the white wine because it's very dry. It's dry and salty. So usually it's very different from, for example, Chardonnay. That is the main grapes, I think, here. Because it's the opposite. It's very dry. And this characteristic is basically given by the soil, because also if San Gimignano is a region far from the seaside, the wine smell and his flavor and taste as a wine producing close to the coast, close to the sea, and that it depends by the soil of San Gimignano, because the soil has a very impact on this wine. Is basically an ancient seabed, so full of ancient shells, ancient mineral fossil. And this soil gives the characteristic of this wine of to be salty, crispy, and also is a white wine with a long life, because it's a white wine that we can age and can also have long life on the shell, because it's no white wine that we have to drink very fast. It's nice to age a little bit. In fact, what we have in our portfolio soon is not the normal Vernaccia, but the Vernaccia Riserva. So this is a little spoil.
Can I add something to it? So first of all, the Vernaccia is actually the wine that, I think from Guidi is one of the most amazing wines. So I was very happy that you're going to start to bring in also the Vernaccia. That's the one that I really fell in love with when I met the winery for the first time. And also to the wine in general, it's like Nicola mentioned, that it's kind of like the wine for the red wine drinkers. White wines in Italy are a lot of people, always tell that, the Italians, they make the white wine as kind of like it's the second wine that they make. Usually the red wines are the big stars in Italy. And Vernaccia is definitely a wine where it's like, you get it that, no, it's not only the red wines are the stars in Italy, but you have a white wine that is really reflecting the terroir, which so really the soil that you feel there, the flintiness that you get. And even though it's still, when you see it, it's very golden. So you don't expect this type of minerality in that wine, or the saltiness that Nicola was talking about. And I think this is always a great surprise to people who have never tasted that wine before, and can be, I think a really great, also selling point. I mean, it's definitely one of the most ancient white wines in Italy, most traditional one, but I don't think it's so, especially in the US, I haven't come across too many. And it always surprises people when
also
when
because
we bring it
it's
up.
a tiny production. Nicola, how many bottles of Vernaccia we produce in San Gimignano?
In total, around 3 million bottles.
So it's really a tiny production. So very historical, very related to the territory. It's nice also to have sometimes the name of the winery, the name of the grape, and the name of the land, because it helps a lot also to sell the wine. Sometimes I know we are difficult in Italy, so you have Vernaccia and San Gimignano. That's perfect. You know where it comes from, and you know the name of the grape. And it's a very tiny one. So again, just 3 million bottles. So as Nicole was saying, somebody who wants to have a full portfolio from Tuscany, not only talking about the reds, there's one huge opportunity, which is a very niche kind of white wine, but perfect to complete the portfolio from Tuscany.
Great.
Yeah, consider that that's fun. That the 30% of Vernaccia is sold in San Gimignano town, because it's very touristic and everyone comes, and it's like the perfect gift. So it's also hard to find everywhere, but this is also something special to have. And another last things, but to me, it's the perfect wine in combination with food, because it's a white wine that clean very well our palate, and it's not super full of flavor. It's more about the texture of the wine. So I think it's perfect really with the food, and so that is another selling point and very nice things about the Vernaccia. What pretty soon arrive is this is Aurea, is our Riserva, is a 2021 vintage, because the Riserva must be aged 1 year, but the Riserva born already during the harvest. We choose Riserva during the harvest. So the best grapes or big grapes that we have, when we harvest, we already harvest as Riserva to be. And what we choose to do the Vernaccia Riserva is our most ancient vines that we have in San Gimignano. They are almost between 50, 60 years old, something a little bit older, something a bit younger, but so very, very old. And that doesn't give us a lot of production, but we don't need, because the production is very limited of this Riserva. But this is another, coming back, talking about the no irrigation, the old vines, they have very, very deep roots. So they always be, they always find water, wet soil. And also, for example, this year, 2023, that we had big rains in May, they were protected by the too much rains, because never the water can arrive very, very deep fastly, So they were protected by the big rains that we have in May, sorry. And that is another nice things about the Vernaccia Riserva that we produce.
Can I add two other things? Nicola, tell me if you agree with that. So just in the talking about natural wine, the Vernaccia is the kind of fermentation is made with the indigenous yeast.
Sí.
So this is another selling point that I think can be used. I know that here in California, but I would say any parts of the world, the attention to the natural wines is increasing. So the fact of having not so high sugar, that means dry, very good acidity, very clean wines, but at the same time also low alcohol. We are talking about 12.5, Nicola, right? 25% alcohol. But I think it's something that is going to be a value-added proposition. So the people is no more looking for very high alcohol, but quite low. Indigenous yeast and very natural production. The wine is unfiltered, so it's really, really, I would say, very close to the perception of the market, which is looking for an organic, even if it is not certified, but an organic kind of management of the vineyards. And the other thing that I would like to say is that the structure, the sapidity and the acidity of this wine also helps the Vernaccia to be kept for a long time, which is again something not so common for the white, but it's changing the idea and approach to the white wines in the market. So we are used to think to age red wines, of course, not all of them, but many of them, and not so many whites. But we are doing a lot of verticals just with the white wines, and some of them have really has shown great potential to be kept for longer time. Vernaccia is one of these white, for sure. And this is coming, of course, from the soil. We were talking about the origin. There were minerals, so full of saltiness and minerals, and that the pH of the soil, which is very, very low, helps to have this structure in the white and helps to have a very longer life. So it's 21, the Riserva, the vintage.
It's the Riserva, it's the new one, the 2021.
Yes, and I'm sure you can keep the wine like 5 years. Nicola, do you agree?
Easily.
Yeah. So it's just an idea also for you to give to, Nicola, give to your customers. Try to keep some bottles and do some vertical because it's really, really interesting to compare the different vintages.
See, I have bottles also that are more than 10 years old and then still very full of bouquet, very flavory. So that is very important to talk about this wine. So talking about Vernaccia, I think who never tried that after that one try, because we spoke a lot about the Vernaccia. But it's a very interesting product, very unique. That it's something that I'm really happy to share because this is everybody know Chianti Classico a little bit, no? And then we have to talk about the winery, how we produce. Instead, the Vernaccia is a very unique product. Yeah, great. So, but we cannot. We have to talk about the Chianti Classico. How Anna mentioned it before, the Chianti is a wide areas, okay? But when we talk about the Chianti Classico, we talk about the original area of production of the Chianti. Because for the first time in 1716 was delimited the area of production of this wine. And still today, we have the same border of the area. We never changed that. And is this area between Florence and Siena is also the geographic Chianti, okay? But was added the word Classico to show the original product and to make the difference with the other Chianti producing outside of the original area. And that make the difference. And also another important thing is the black rooster is the symbol of the Chianti Classico that must be on the bottle. As I used to say for fun, if you don't find the black rooster is a Chianti Classico made in China because there is no the approval of the rooster, but that's it's for fun. We are on the west side between the area of Castellina and Chianti and Barberino. So as I told you before, and it's very nice also if the little area how the wine are different from the north to the west, southwest, and south. Because any area have different climate, different altitude, so make the wine difference. And our wines is very characterized by smoothness and elegance. Our Chianti Classico. Who tried that can say yes, because we talking in this day with somebody that is in this call, and we really recognize this characteristic of this wine. Anna, you want to add something more?
Yeah, I was just taking a look at the grapes that are just indicated here. Sangiovese, of course, I mean, it's a king. Colorino, Canaiolo, and Cabernet Merlot. Okay, just a small parenthesis on Cabernet Merlot, because we always think, when we think about Italy, we think about the local and our native grapes. We produce more than 500, we say, autochthon grapes, and we are, I would say, famous for that. But when it goes to Cabernet and Merlot, and even Chardonnay, and even Syrah in Tuscany, actually, this is something that we produce, especially in Tuscany, since more than 500. I mean, Cabernet Sauvignon has been taken by the Medici, the Familia Caterina de Medici, by this family 500 years ago. So we cannot say that Cabernet and Merlot are not significantly related to the Italian viticulture. So of course, when it goes to Cabernet, you have beautiful Cabernet here, and your knowledge and your experience on Cabernet is fantastic. But probably even though, or maybe just thanks to the fact that you are a great connoisseur of Cabernet, or Cabernet Sauvignon especially, maybe sometimes it's a good relationship to try also Cabernet coming from other area and just comparing the differences in the wine production. What I also see here is that is not indicated, but it's going to be after in the tech sheet, the Malvasia Nera, which is a fantastic grape, which is really, really historical from Tuscany, that Nicola has. They have a beautiful Malvasia. It's an old but new grape that is really coming up in again, a new selling proposition if you want. There are also experience of 100% Malvasia Nera, and they also use it in their blend, right, Nicola?
Yes, we use a 5% of Merlot and 5% of Malvasia Nera in the blend with the Sangiovese.
It gives a great flavorness, a great aroma, like red fruits, but really, really intense. And the acidity, again, is very important with the Malvasia Nera. So I think it's a great addition to the blend because it really, I mean, helps a lot. And I was just noticing that it was not underlined there, but I think it's an important grape, really nice. I really like Malvasia Nera.
I cannot, unfortunately, made by itself, Anna. Maybe I plant more in the future. And
yes.
What is
Anyway, go, Lauren.
What is the story of the Black Rooster? Why?
Who wants to do this?
Well, this is a nice story for your son and daughter for before to go bed, if you want to also use that. But the Black Rooster is the symbol of the area, because the area was under the war, under the fight of Florence people in the north and Siena in the south for many years in the medieval. So books talks about war, but the legend say that the two towns decide to make the peace, and they decide to make a race between the two towns to decide which is the border of the two areas and the two towns too. So the legends say that to make the peace, they decide to make this race between two knights. One knight starts from Florence and one from Siena. When they met on the main way, that is the border that the two towns have to respect for ending the war. So but that time they didn't have the iPhone or watches to start the race. How we start a race from two towns that are far? They decide to start the race choosing a rooster. Every town can choose a rooster, and when the rooster sing for the first time in the day, the night can start the race. Starting from Siena, the Siena people choose a white rooster. They feed him a lot, like a king. And maybe he was a little bit lazy, because the Florence people choose a rooster. They didn't feed him. They put in a cage, and the rooster became angry and hungry at the same time, and he started to sing in the night, not in the morning. So the Florence knight started the race in the night and arrived very, very close to Siena when he met the other knight from Siena. So Florence basically won the race, won the area of the Chianti, mostly for the 80%. And so the Black Rooster became the symbol of this race for that reason. I used to say maybe the white wine finished in a soup because he lost the wine, he lost the race. We don't know.
Nicola, I don't know if you know. Actually, I have always had a doubt, so I have to ask you. Do you know if there was somebody from Florence in Pisa and somebody from Pisa? I'm sorry, from in Siena and somebody from Siena in Florence to justify? Yes, the rooster actually really sang at that time.
But
there was
I think yes. I don't know. we were not there. We were not there.
No, we were not there. There's no literature on that.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so we have to trust the Florence.
Yeah, we have to. But there is a nice kind of documentary. If you want, I send you all that the Chianti Classico made. Is like a Netflix show for 15 minutes where there is the story. It's very well made. We can use and see during, instead say our Netflix show, you can see the Chianti Classico show if you want.
Yes, please.
Finish to talking about the Chianti Classico. This is one of our most important wines. Okay, it's produced by my family from the beginning, from the Chianti, from the 20s of last century, and for us it really represents one of our signature wine. People say me, oh, it's very good, and I always say yes. I know that. No, like I'm very happy about the wines, about the quality. So we are very consistent on wine. Also, if you have to compete as with other producer when you are also to your clients wine shop, maybe they have also other Chianti Classico. What we are giving is something very traditional, very elegant, very smooth. That is nothing usually on the Chianti Classico, because sometimes the tannins is more important, and so the acidity too. So this is one of our main sale points in compared to the others.
Let me just add that the 2020 has been a fantastic bin. We will probably remember 2020 probably as a 20. I mean, many journalists and wineries and critics say that 2020 is the new 2016. So it has been perfect. Great balance of raining and weather, very long on, beautiful development of the polyphenolic structure. The tannins were very soft right at the beginning. So really beautiful vintage. One of the vintage that you can really keep for a very long time.
Yes. Fortunately, something happened good in 2020. Not only the COVID. We have something to remember.
Yes, actually, when I talk about 2020, you know what? I don't think at all about the COVID. I always think about how beautiful it was, the vintage. Always, you know? That's, that's part of our nice job.
Good. The portfolio that we have here. The next is Bernardo Rosso Toscano. That is a wine family, because we created basically in the 2021 to celebrate the 5th generation of my family with my nephew Bernardo. That we used his name for this wine, but we made that because we want that this is represent kind of wine for the new generation, new approach to the wine. So what we choose to do here was rethink about the Rosso Toscano, make a Rosso Toscano low alcohol, only at most 20%, based on Sangiovese, but there is also more Merlot at 20%. We used to present the wine like a mini Tuscan, not super Tuscan that we see later, but a mini Tuscan. That is a wine 100% sustainable, and we work hard on this wine to make that. made by Sangiovese, low alcohol. We use only indigenous yeast, only more natural do in the fields, and also we try to save weight with choosing light glass, and also, for example, only recycled boxes, natural cork that we can compost. Like little attention that we really think that the new generation appreciate, so that we think that it can be new style of new wines, and is a fresh, easy drinking wine that in the warm day we can chill a little bit. Not very cold, but it's very nice if we chill a little bit. It's a good wine for appetizer by the glass, and also his selling price is very nice, so it's very affordable to everybody. I remember when I met Shelby, she fall in love with this wine and she chose right away.
Yes, it's very tasty. Very drinkable.
Yeah, that is his main point. Instead, here, if we talk with the Bernardo about the a mini Tuscan, we have a super Tuscan. So, talking about a little bit about the super Tuscan. Super Tuscan is this category right now very, very famous in Tuscany. Maybe is represent today the best of Tuscany winemaking in not historical wines, because super Tuscan is a kind of wine very recent, like producing only in the last 50, 60 years. My family started to produce this wine only in 2007, when because we had new vines that arrived in cellar. New vines are ready to produce also Merlot and Cabernet. But at the beginning, this wine was not good enough for us, so we didn't present as Super Tuscan. We first, only in 2017, we felt ready to present as Super Tuscan and create our Avus Venter, actually Super Tuscan, made by a 50% of Sangiovese, so the heart still Sangiovese, and another 50% is a blend of Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon. Wine is made in the Chianti Classico region, in the heart of the Chianti Classico, and it's all about our production. We own these grapes, so it's completely by us. We use new barrel of barrique, and the production is very limited, only 2,000 bottles right now. But this wine is important to us because we dedicated the wine to the family. It's we consider family wines. And in fact, the labels, it's like a story, and where the story talk about us with the name of my family in bold, that generation after generation. We did that because we think that as this wine is a blend, our family is a blend of people, of generation after generation. It's what we want to communicate is making things together, respect each other is better than do alone. So that's why we dedicated wine to the family. If you want to know what Avus Venter means, is a fun story. I try to explain you. Avus Venter are two Latin words that means Avus, the ancestor, the Avi in Italian, and Venter was a name used to talk about us, because my family, my great-grandfather, my grandfather was known in my town with a nickname that basically the translation is belly, okay? Like our belly, so we cannot call a wine belly. It was no polite, it was no elegant. So we choose this mix of word, the ancestor of belly, to and we choose the Latin because it's more elegant, more important. So it's and so basically this is the wine of the Belli family. That is what.
Nice. And just to add, I think you just won a decanter award as well for the wine, the silver, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that's good to add in case someone is interested for this.
Well, coming back to talking about historical wines, the last wine that we have in portfolio as dry wine is the Brunello. What coming soon is a 2018 vintage. Brunello, everyone knows that is a production, is 100% Sangiovese. Talk about super wine, the historical wine of Tuscan, of Italy, the main two wine, the Barolo for Piedmont and the Brunello from Montalcino. They beginning both by the B, so it's easy to remember. Brunello is a 100% Sangiovese. We aged 5 years by law, so that is it's mandatory. You cannot change that. So 14 months aged in the cellar in big oak barrel, and 12 months in the bottle, because the bottle is a very important moment for this Sangiovese. So the Sangiovese Montalcino was basically too dry if you don't age. So it's what our ancestors figure out, and they start to age this wine there. Montalcino is a town, I don't know if someone been there, but very close to an ancient volcan, and not far from the seaside. So there is the fresh air from the mountain, from the volcan, and also layer of air that arrive from the ocean, from the Mediterranean Sea. So that it's very nice area with a big difference of temperature in the morning, during the day and the night. And the soil is very, very dry, and for that reason the wine have this characteristic of long life and acidity, and that is his best characteristic. If someone tried what we have on the market right now, was the 2017, that was a cold vintage. So I used to say that is a Brunello right now ready. It's a ready Brunello. It's not a Brunello that we have to age. Instead, the 2018 is more rich. It was more warm. So it's a Brunello more rich than 2017. That is also we can have more life, more also in the shelf or in home. You have something to add about the Brunello? Otherwise, we go to last wine.
No, I mean, Brunello is, of course, a great addition to the portfolio. Everybody knows about the production, how important it is in a complete portfolio from Tuscany. So I think it's fantastic that you can really cover 3 different areas. I mean, your historical one, which is, of course, the Chianti Classico. You probably know Lauren, he lives in Poggibonsi, so it's really, really, I mean, the Chianti Classic is really the original area. Vernaccia, which is fantastic, and Brunello was a beautiful way to complete the portfolio. So, but I don't have nothing to do to add on the wine, unless it's, which is great to try. So, yeah. We just started with the 2018, right, Nicola? Yeah, so, yeah. We have time, and it's going to be another vintage to be kept for a long time. Do you use Lauren to do verticals here in California? Is something that you do normally with your clients?
We have a handful of clients that like to do verticals, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting, and it's a nice experience on how we can really send the grape, how they change. I mean, every grape and every level can be really surprising in how they change along the years. And as we said on the white wines, it's an experience that really helps you to understand the characteristic and the tertiarization of every grape, and to see where it takes where it's going to take you.
Well, to talk about Sangiovese, the last wine is a dessert wine, okay, as Vinsanto. So we made by Sangiovese. I think 80% of my colleagues in Tuscany, they made this dessert wine by Trebbiano, basically. But we choose to do the Vinsanto of Sangiovese because we really appreciate how it's going, and it's more interesting to me. So, for who doesn't know, the Vinsanto is the historical, traditional dessert wine for every family here. Many friends of me, they do by themselves in the cellar with the grandpa. It's something very traditional to us, but it's something very long to do. It's not easy. It's not easy to do that. The proper Vinsanto, very very nice. Otherwise, if you want to do a shit Vinsanto, we can do easily in a couple of years. But if you want to do proper Vinsanto, we have to leave the grape on the vines longer, usually end of October, beginning of November, and so we need a little bit more ripe grapes. And after that, the grapes we leave on special table with straw because we need all the main water that is in the vines, the grapes evaporate, and so we do the squeezing of the grapes later when all the water is gone. When we do that, we do the fermentation and the aging and the aging in the oak barrel, in the little oak barrel that are very very small, most like 100 liters, 50 liters, depends, and we keep the wine there as long as we can, 5-6 years. That make the wine so special. So the wine is naturally sweet. We don't add sugar. We don't add alcohol, like for example the Porto wines does. And so we arrive around 16%. It's a liqueur because during the fermentation and the aging, the wine is oxidated, so the wine doesn't expire when it's open. So it's a perfect wine to finish a dinner, but also by itself. Suggestion is to pair the wine with biscuit, cookies, something dry, not something very rich, because it's rich by itself. So otherwise it's a little bit too much to me. But this is my flavor, my palate. How I told you before, we do by Sangiovese, so it's a little bit less sweet than the white wine Vinsanto. And the name Vinsanto is mean in Italian the holy wine, because basically is also the wine that our priests use. So for that reason, it's called Vinsanto. And Occhio di Pernice, that you can see the name in the label and on the bottom of this page, is as the Vinsanto of Sangiovese is called, because it's like the eye of the partridge, that is this bird. So the inside of the eyes of the partridge is very similar to the color of the Vinsanto. For that reason, our ancestor, the ancient producer, they used to call this kind of Vinsanto.
Let me just add something, Nicola, about the texture of not the texture, but the characteristic of this wine. So Vinsanto, as Nicola was saying, is let me say a sweet wine, really naturally sweet. It's nice when we talk about just to think that for us having a sweetness is the easiest things actually, because we normally start from a very high potential alcohol, and even the process of dryness, I mean, of reducing, concentrating the grapes and keeping in the fermentation so long, of course, helps to still have a very high percentage in sugar. But I really love, especially the Occhio di Pernice that are 100% Sangiovese, because the most important way to have a balanced sweet wine is the acidity. It's really important for the producer really to understand which is the right moment to do the harvest and how to keep the acidity very high, because this is the way to make the sweet wine much more enjoyable. Otherwise, it's going to be very flat and very sticky and absolutely not good. So the acidity is really important. The way they keep the vineyards is always done with that direction, with this objective in mind. And Sangiovese, who really has a very good acidity, coming from the DNA of the grape, but also coming from the soil. When you have 100% Sangiovese in the Vinsanto, you can say, okay, this is a perfect Vinsanto because it can really mix and can really balance the different characteristics. And I think the acidity is one of the things that really makes again, the difference in the longevity, but also in the enjoyable of a wine, especially a Vinsanto. Do you agree, Nicola?
Yes, perfect. I suggest some selling point about the wines, like not selling point, but like pairing, because for sure I also told before that it's very good with cookies, dry biscuit, but I suggest a funky tasting of this wine with blue cheese, very smooth cheese that is very nice to try. This combination of sweetness and cheese, because make this combination very, very nice. It's something that I suggest you to try.
We will do that today.
Yeah, we're gonna do it together.
Yes.
So if someone have question or idea or want to say something,
well, I definitely just wanted to thank you for your time and for presenting this for us. It was a great presentation to see all the visuals and to get your backstory. So we very much appreciate it.